Thưa quý khán giả của Viet News USA, sống ở Hoa Kỳ, nơi được mệnh danh là thiên đàng trên đất, với sự kết hợp của các giống dân cùng chung sống và chia sẻ các ngôn ngữ, văn hóa, đem lại một sự kết hợp hùng mạnh khó có đất nước nào có thể sánh bằng. Tìm hiểu thêm về các cộng đồng bạn qua những con người thật, việc thật, cũng sẽ giúp chúng ta biết thêm được nhiều cái hay, cái quý đáng học hỏi. Chương trình song ngữ, cuộc sống quanh ta, với các khách mời là những doanh nhân, nghệ sĩ, thương gia, chính trị gia, sẽ đem đến cho chúng ta nhiều bất ngờ thú vị. Chương trình được sử dụng với hai ngôn ngữ tiếng Anh và tiếng Việt, và với sự điều phối thật linh động lưu loát của cô hướng dẫn chương trình xinh đẹp và tài giỏi của tiểu bang Arizona, Tiffany Mộng Tuyệt, sẽ giúp các bạn trẻ thêm sự gần gũi với cộng đồng Việt Nam và cũng như những người khán giả của Viet News USA biết thêm được nhiều thông tin cuộc sống xung quanh ta. Trọng Phúc chào đón quý khán giả đến với chương trình của Viet News USA, một chương trình thiết thực cho mọi gia đình. Cảm ơn quý khán giả đã luôn ủng hộ các chương trình của Viet News USA và đặc biệt là chương trình song ngữ cuộc sống quanh ta. Chương trình nằm nối kết các thế hệ với nhau bằng một chương trình song ngữ. Ngoài ra, chương trình còn tạo điều kiện để chúng ta cùng tìm hiểu về những cộng đồng bạn, những văn hóa, phong tục, tập quán, cùng những thành công, những gương tốt để chúng ta cùng thêm sự hiểu biết và cùng hòa nhập trong cuộc sống tại Hợp Trung Quốc, Hoa Kỳ. Mời quý đồng hương hãy đến với nhà hàng Mekong Palace, nhà hàng được bình chọn The Best Điểm Sống in Arizona, với những món điểm sống ngon được mọi người mến chuộng như xíu mại, há cảo tôm hấp, chân gà nấu tương đen, bánh cuốn, bánh bao xá xíu, xôi hấp lá sen, vân vân. Ngoài ra, nhà hàng còn nhận đặt tiệc, catering tận nhà hoặc venue cưới. Nhà hàng Mekong Palace mở cửa từ thứ Hai đến thứ Sáu, từ 11 giờ sáng đến 9 giờ tối, điểm sống từ 11 giờ sáng đến 3 giờ chiều. Thứ Bảy và Chủ nhật, từ 10 giờ sáng đến 9 giờ tối, điểm sống từ 10 giờ sáng đến 3 giờ chiều. Nhà hàng Mekong Palace tọa lạc tại 66 South Dobson Road, phòng 120, Mesa, Arizona 85202. Điện thoại 480 962 0493 480 962 0493.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the show. My name is Tiffany Nguyen, and of course our producer is David Fong. So glad that you're back here today, and even more excited, we have Gary Snyder back here. If you recall, about a month or two ago, right, Gary? Yeah, we had you in the studio. At that point, you were on your first round to be, trying to be nominated as the Republican Party's representative to run for state senate. And then since then,
it has been nonstop every day long.
And he made it, of course, to the first round, through the first round.
With the help of, everyone in my community, but also everyone in the state of Arizona. It's been a blessing to be able to travel Arizona, like I talked previously about a month and a half ago. Now my efforts have been double and triple, nonstop every day, traveling from Tucson to Phoenix to Yuma County to Gila Bend, all over the southern state of Arizona, but most importantly, having the chance to talk with people, go to a lot of events. Very excited to see our youth excelling right now in a lot of these programs that is out of high school to learn a trade, CTE, which is beautiful because, what have we been talking about since a month and a half? The main issues are our workforce.
That's right.
So if you can't find the workforce, you create it. And how do you create it? You give the opportunity to younger generations to become ready for the workforce in about a year or two. So it's great to see that. It's great to see that people are responding. People are being educated on the voting sense. But most importantly, they're taking their life and making it in command to say, you know what? I'm learning about the policies. I'm seeing the inflation. I'm seeing that Arizona is the top in the nation for inflation. 13.5% is big on the GDP charts. Families are feeling it, and like I said before, it's time to be proactive. And proactive doesn't mean, complain, go fight. No, we don't want that. Proactive means vote educatedly for someone that's really going to help you out. And that's what I saw through this past month and a half. I was honored to be the Republican nominee. And hopefully in about a month or two, I'll be the nominee, but I'll be the winner and be proclaimed the state senator for Southern Arizona, but most importantly for Arizona.
Wow.
We're all together, and I'm excited and blessed to be a part of this.
Yeah. So November 8th is today, but of course you can always do your early voting, which, Gary, I think you're in favor of early voting.
Yes,
right?
I am. A lot of Republicans aren't, but to be honest, a lot of people, you're going to hear the spectrum saying, oh, no, early. I do believe in early. Republicans were the ones that started because a lot of people were the elderly that couldn't go to the boxes on time or vote in person, or they were working. I believe we can do early so that we have a bipartisan vote, but I don't believe the whole month. So if we can give them 15 days to vote early, be perfect. And then after that's cut off, and for whatever reason you didn't turn in your ballot, take it into a polling place the day of November 8th, give it to the marshal, and the marshal will notify that they've received it, they'll rip it up, and give you a ballot to vote in person. So what it is, it saves money, and it saves time, and most importantly, candidates would love to know who won that night. Not a week later.
They do, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting around, you're like, gosh,
Exactly.
I almost got all the votes. Am I getting the rest of the votes?
Yeah, exactly. And then people that voted as well would like to know who's their next representative, because they want to get with them the first day before they even get into office and talk to them. You know what? Before you go up to the state legislature, we want you to know this is what we're seeing in these cities. This is what we're seeing in this. We want you to work on these bills, and that's what it should be. You should not wait until a person is elected 2 weeks later. You want to know now so you can approach them with information, so when they go up in the beginning of the year, January 2023, they're ready to go, boots on the ground, ready to put some bills together for the community.
So Gary, what was the feeling like on the night waiting for the results to come in, first round?
Well,
Did you already know that you were going to win? I know you worked very hard.
Well, I was watching it, don't get me wrong. I watched it till 2 in the morning because it literally clicks, and then you have to wait for 4 counties total. I have 4 counties. So each county is a little bit different. They take a little bit longer. So it really took me 4 days to actually have the information. But I already knew in my heart, and I knew my hard work, and I knew the constituents, the voters see the hard work. They see the generosity, the kind heart, the work ethic, and most importantly, that I'm willing to work hard and show them what it really is to be an elected official and someone to respect that seat, not just say, I'm a senator, and then that's it.
That is correct. So now there's still a lot of work left. I know that you travel quite a bit, and even sometimes outside of the area, you're concerned with in your position.
That's right.
And why does that matter to you?
To me, it's very important, like I said, I was raised military family, the morals, the foundations, being Christian, I believe in faith, family, and most importantly, you know what? We have to be good neighbors and good leaders. Everyone can be a good leader in their own way. My way is running a campaign, listening to people's information, their needs and their wants, and visualizing what we can do for our communities and our state. We all want to have the opportunity to be able to work and be prosperous. And sometimes you think that's the easiest thing, but it's not. Sometimes the communications aren't there, and misconceptions of what a state senator could do and what they cannot do. Sometimes I've heard people say, oh, you're going versus Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly's a U.S. senator.
That's right.
Representing Arizona. I'm a state senator only in Arizona.
That's right.
So state and federal is 2 different divisions, but you'd be amazed. I make sure I explain people so they understand, because I don't want other people to, for whatever reason, make fun of them for them not knowing.
That's right.
Because it's our job as candidates, elected official, and the government to make sure all our constituents understand what the voting is and the way it votes.
And I think that's great because, also a lot of times when we look at ballots, we're like, okay, this name looks familiar, we're going to click, doesn't matter. I actually do my homework before I go voting. And there's a couple of websites that I think that are good. They give information, on what your platforms are, a little bit about you, and they're very, fair and general. So that I do, also suggest that if you want to know a little bit more about our candidates, you go to those websites. But also you can go to websites like the ones that you have here, Snyder4Arizona.com, to really learn more about Gary and his platforms, things that he cares and concerns about. You can also see beautiful pictures of his family as well.
Yeah, thank you. Well, like I said, everyone has an opportunity to go on Google, to go on websites, social media, and there you're going to know what a tell is. The tell will tell you who the person is, that they're transparent, or does it just look like this is all they're doing this year, but the years previously you haven't seen them a part of the community. You know, luckily, like I said, I've always been engaged in the community with nonprofit, helping out, and most importantly, our children. You know, my upbringing is always help your children and the youth community because they are the next generation. And we want to make sure that our nation, state, and most importantly, our communities and culture is strong.
Yeah. So let's go through like a couple of pillars of your program.
Okay.
So cut inflation and taxes. Highlight that really quick.
So first off, inflation, obviously we know that's a federal thing.
Yes.
But what we can do is, as a statewide, is I'm all about cutting taxes. That's a Republican. Cut taxes, right? We need to save so every constituent has money in their pockets. I'm going a little further. I got other options that I can see. Cut taxes right now at the city level, state level, has to do with food necessities. Also baby supplies. We need to cut the taxes for that. Zero taxes. That way we can afford to have a little more money in our pocket to offset the inflation. What else can we do? Gas taxes. That's going to cut as well, and I'll put a little more money into your pockets. Yes, there's some people that will say that's a bad thing because we get money from that to do for infrastructure. Well, I'm sorry to say, infrastructure is secondary when someone started. And a family can't pay their rent, a family can't have their car, or a family can't even turn on the AC. To me, that's number one first before the infrastructure in these next few years of the crisis of the recession. Now, I'm also looking to implement, a lot of people might be on the fridge on both sides, but a tourist tax. Arizona itself is a gold mine. We have so much beautiful things, beautiful culture, beautiful Sedona, sports. Everyone's coming to Arizona because we're a state of sun, of joy, of life and leadership. So to have like Florida, where you have a state tourism tax, that will help fund our first responders, police, educators, just on that. So that way it doesn't come out of our pockets as constituents because we're already paying money. You know, no one wants to hear, oh, we're going to pay more money. We're going to pay no more. So it's our job as legislators to find a way that people have to pay for other stuff, because otherwise we take one thing, that side of that district's going to be starting complaining. We need to make sure anyone coming into Arizona for vacation or tourism, they pay. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to come to Arizona and say, oh, we got $5. I can't live in Arizona for $5. No, of course not. They know exactly it's still going to be cheaper than a lot of majority of the states, even with inflation. So that's the way that we can get a hand on the crisis for the next 2 years. Now, will it stay like that? No. I'm just saying for what we can do now, because I'm all about now. Let's get it done. Let's make sure our Arizona families are safe and secure.
And then, so it sounds like, you know, this is what, from your perspective, we're prioritizing certain things to make sure that the current needs are met, and then you're open to revising those as necessary to make sure that, you know, this priority. Because
this tax credit would also benefit a lot of businesses, a lot of small, medium-sized businesses, because what it is, you're going to have employees that don't want to go to work anymore because they can't afford the gas. They can't afford a lot of the stuff. And it's just, in a way, they need to work to make money, but this costs them more to come out to work. So this is a way to help businesses have good employees, but most importantly, help the businesses as well as a tax reduction.
Okay. Solve our water crisis. I think that's pretty clear. We've been hearing quite a bit about this here. What are some of the things that you're looking to implement?
Well, you know, everyone asks the same question in a lot of debates in the state of Arizona: water crisis, water crisis, water crisis. Yes, we are in a crisis, but the question is, everyone puts it in the legislature. Now, the water itself on the 1922 compact was that federally, they have the rights. So state legislatures don't have rights. What we can do is gauge infrastructure, the salt cedars, we can take all that up. But I'm more interested in what can we do for the future. You know, there's short term and long term. Short term is, you know, cut down some trees in the forest and out there in the north of Arizona because they take a lot of water consumption. But we can go with less. We can also put some green trees around metropolitan areas so the heat index goes down in the carbon as well. But most importantly for longevity, we got to think about solar. You know, solar is an expensive thing, but we're already going towards that. If you notice in Arizona, a lot of solar farms, a lot of solar plants. People are putting solar on their house to offset the cost of the APS or SRP, and that's a federal credit as well. But those are stuff like that we need to worry about because we have it. You know, God has given us opportunity to have sun almost year round. Maybe this summer's been a little bit different with the climate, but you know what? We have to take advantage of it. You know, we can't be how we were 50 years ago. The world goes on, the changes are there. So we need to change with the times and know in advance. We need bold initiatives. And to me, bold initiative starts from what are we going to do, not in 10 years, 15 years, but what are we going to do for our children and upcoming years. And if this was an issue with the state, then I'm just going to be honest. Our representatives for the past 15 years have done a poor job. But since this initiative it has to do with federal, I do agree that us as legislators need to voice our opinion a little bit louder on the media spectrum so we can put a little pressure on our U.S. senators and members who are in the White House itself right now.
Yeah, definitely a lot of news, and this is an area of my concerns as well in our companies. A lot of the companies are responsible, want to talk about sustainability, talk about the environment, so definitely an area of my interest. So let's talk about quality jobs. What kind of quality jobs are we talking about here? And by the way, I was reading a report this morning, and it was saying like in Arizona, but there's about 100,000 IT job, which is really, really good for Arizona. We always think of LA, New York, and other areas as a tech hub, but I do see that Arizona is becoming one as well.
So Arizona, like I said, when we first started as a state, we had a lot of hard workers, and we were farmers, we were cattle farmers, you know, we're agriculture, a lot of the blue collar. Now we're becoming tech. We're putting in aerospace, steel manufacturers, a lot of different union jobs, and to me, they're all quality jobs. But the quality job is where you know you're going to work, you enjoy yourself, you're safe, secure, and you know you have a sustainability to grow in that company or companies. That's what I care about Arizona. That our families are secure, that our businesses are secure, and that you're not going to worry about big government charging you or taxing you as a person and as a business. So here in Arizona, we're for profit. We want to grow as a community. We want to grow as a state. We want to be a state that is the benchmark of the United States. And it starts with us as a legislature. It starts with elected officials on the lower levels. But most importantly, it starts with us, the people, willing to stand up and say, you know what? We're willing to work hard because we want to make sure our next generations see what real hard work can get you. And the state of Arizona has always been a benchmark of hard work.
If I recall correctly, you also were a proponent of minority-owned businesses, small businesses.
Correct.
You want to see them thrive.
Correct. So in my district, I've always helped out all the minorities in every culture. I've always been a part because at the end of the day, we need to strive together to create business. And I'm all about working together, keeping the money within businesses to help out. Shop local. You know, yes, we do want the franchises and big corporations, but we need to focus on our middle to smaller class because that is the majority of Arizona jobs. And those are the caterpillars and the backbone of Arizona itself. Because we wish we can have all these IT jobs, we wish we can have all these aerospace jobs, but that only picks up a fraction of our area. Now, my district, the majority of all 250,000 people in my district, the middle class from $30,000 to $60,000 is my area. You know, we have a few that are making 90 to 100 to a few over 400,000, but the majority of them are between that middle class. And the middle class just tells you they're hardworking, they have jobs, they have families, they have mortgages, they have rent, they have cars. So if you cut down the dwindling of the inflation, that's not a lot of money. You know, and we live in a country where we're all about commerce. We're all about trade and we're all about spending. And we have to make sure that we have the security and stability for all our businesses to be able to have that trend.
And then mental health services.
Very important. You rarely hear Republicans talk about this, but pre-COVID and post-COVID, very important, because we've seen there's a lot of homelessness, there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of issues coming up in, you know, we'll say the police department and, you know, whatever spectrum of what you see in the United States and around the world is because we didn't have enough services or didn't even want to talk about mental health. And to be honest, a lot of people didn't even know they have a mental health condition because they're just used to seeing it or used to living with it when they grew up. And right now, after post-COVID, it is big. But most importantly, it's big in our kids now. Because now the stress is all social media. There's a lot of these, you know, fentanyl, and it's like, oh, you know that's fentanyl, but the pressure, the stress, they think, you know, it's not, nothing's going to happen to me. Let me just relax. You know, it's very important to educate and check because it's something that needs to go without an opportunity of not knowing that they might be mentally ill and they just need the services. To me, that's number one. You know, we need to make sure our communities and our people, each individual, especially the veterans, receive the mental health. You know, that's why today I was in a meeting with 3 nonprofits and it had to do with domestic violence. It has to be with mental health and veteran affairs because, you know what? There's nothing wrong with having an issue of mental health. What's wrong is not finding the opportunity to receive the help. And sometimes the worst one is the one that doesn't know.
That's right.
You know, our society has now been that, oh, we didn't want to talk to that person. That person's not stable. No, I look at it the other way. We need to find out why they're not stable. Because every individual, to me, matters.
Tóc bạc là một vấn đề của đàn ông và phụ nữ ở độ tuổi trung niên. Họ phải nhuộm tóc thông thường 2 lần một tháng. Hầu hết thuốc nhuộm đều không phù hợp với tóc. Chúng chứa các hóa chất và có hại gây rụng tóc, khô da đầu, ngứa ngáy khó chịu. Nó cũng khiến chân tóc dễ bị tổn thương, từ đó ảnh hưởng đến sức khỏe của bạn. Đến với Quay giúp quý vị làm chọn tóc bạc. Quay hoàn toàn tự nhiên và không gây bất kỳ tác dụng phụ nào trên tóc và cơ thể bạn. Serum dưỡng tóc này biến đổi tóc bạc thành màu tự nhiên, giúp bạn làm mới mái tóc của mình. Quay điều trị các vấn đề về rụng tóc và thúc đẩy sự phát triển của tóc, ngăn ngừa hư tổn tóc, nuôi dưỡng tóc và trị cào. Quay làm cho tóc bóng mượt và sang trọng hơn. Quay không có tác dụng phụ và hoàn toàn hữu cơ, giúp dưỡng ẩm cho tóc. Quay trị tóc bạc và chăm sóc tóc toàn diện. Quay trị tóc bạc sớm, phục hồi sắc tố melanin, giúp tóc đen hơn, kích thích mọc tóc, ngăn ngừa rụng tóc, trị cào, nuôi dưỡng, giữ ẩm tóc, làm dịu da đầu, tăng cường tóc dày và khỏe mạnh. Hãy gọi ngay 916 666 0218 916 666 0218. Quay trị tóc bạc sớm. Cảm ơn quý khán giả đã theo dõi chương trình song ngữ Cuộc sống quanh ta với Tiffany Mộng Tuyền và khách mời. Chương trình phát hình vào mỗi tối thứ Hai hàng tuần trong khung giờ quen thuộc là 7 giờ PM giờ Arizona trên channel Viet News USA. Mọi đóng góp ý kiến cũng như tham gia chương trình, vui lòng liên lạc với chúng tôi qua số điện thoại 602 481 2647 hoặc theo địa chỉ email info.vietnewsusa@gmail.com. Chân thành cảm ơn. Chúc quý khán giả có một ngày thật là vui bên gia đình và người thân. Hẹn gặp lại quý khán giả trong chương trình tới. Và đừng quên bấm nút like, nút chuông để luôn theo dõi cũng như chia sẻ các chương trình của Viet News đến với mọi người. Have a wonderful day and see you soon.